Колеги, зараз я до слова запрошую полковника Андрія Лисенка, речника антитерористичної операції, з інформацією про те, що зараз відбувається у зоні проведення АТО та у східних регіонах України в цілому. Андрій Миколаївич, прошу до слова.
Доброго дня, шановні колеги.
So today, the 4th of March, the Russian side unilaterally sent the 17th so-called humanitarian convoy via the pass points Donetsk and Matveyev Kurgan of Russian Federation to Ukraine, when two convoys, 166 trucks, most of them were transporting non-humanitarian type cargoes. The movement of the so-called humanitarian convoy was happening with the violation of the norms of international and national legislation. The representatives of the International Red Cross Committee did not participate in the examination of the convoy. The control of the Ukrainian intersectoral group was done only by visual observation. The procedure of clearing the trucks in the pass point Donetsk was actively covered by Russian TV channels. The militants continue to imitate the withdrawal of heavy weaponry. The illegal armed groups accumulate personnel, weapons, and military equipment on a strategically important Artemivsky, Volnovasky, and Mariupolsky directions. Executing the peaceful agreement, the enemy in total observes the ceasefire regime. At the same time, some bands from non-controlled by Ukraine territory continue shelling at our positions using mostly the firearms. The most active, the enemy is in the Donetsk direction. Opitne, Piski, Berezove were shelled by the militants. The artillery around midnight was shelling at Avdiivka, and mortars and Zenith systems were shelling at Vodyane. In Lugansk directions, the grenade launchers and firearms were shelling at Shastya, near Lebedinska, near Mariupol. Our positions were shelled at by sniper. Ukrainian servicemen continued to reinforce the line of defense and are getting ready to the second stage of withdrawal of artillery systems to the distances according to international agreements. During the last 24 hours, one Ukrainian serviceman was killed and one was wounded. ATO forces registered the drone of the enemy over settlements Krasnivka and Znamenivka, Volnovasky district of Donetsk region. Ukrainian cities are without gas because the criminal actions of terrorists. The representatives of LNR bands closed the main gas pipeline Lugansk-Vilkhova, which was supplying gas to Stanitsa Luganska and nearby settlements. 11,000 people are without gas now. Ukrainian special services are successfully fighting against pro-Russian subversive activists. The Ukrainian counterintelligence detained the citizens of Ukraine who suspected in collecting information on ATO forces with the assistance of special equipment. The radio technical set for monitoring radio broadcasting was confiscated from Russian. Together with this system, the bug was found for the radio interception, computer equipment, and satellite equipment with and USB with materials of anti-Ukrainian propaganda. Ukrainian army helps peaceful citizens, officers of military, civilian cooperation of the armed forces of Ukraine, together with the volunteers, brought 200 food sets for the citizens of Starognatyevka, Volnovasky district of Donetsk region. In the city, there are mostly pensioners and families with many children. The citizens received bread, oil, cereals, sugar, and cans, and medication. There is a planned rotation continues. Yesterday, another team of law enforcement servicemen of Cherkasy region moved to anti-terrorist operation zone. The law enforcers will replace their colleagues from other regions and will be serving at the checkpoints, will participate in protection of the public order. Also 15 servicemen of the state traffic inspection of Volyn region went to replace their comrades in arms in the east of Ukraine. The international community supports the fighting of Ukrainian people against aggression. With the supply of American weapons to Ukraine, we should not expect that the armed forces of Ukraine will immediately get military advantage over Russian army, but that could add up muscles to the joint diplomatic efforts in fighting against aggressor. That was stated by the commander of the group of the U.S. armies in Europe, General Lieutenant Ben Hodges. According to the military, the number of Russian troops in the east of Ukraine is about 12,000 servicemen, and on the territory of Crimean Peninsula, about 29,000. The leaders of European countries, President of France, François Hollande, Prime Minister of Great Britain, David Cameron, Head of the Government of Italy, Matteo Renzi, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and also the U.S. President Barack Obama and the President of European Council Donald Tusk yesterday evening had a video conference on global issues of security. As to Ukraine, they agreed to support full execution of Minsk agreements and also support and strengthen the capacity of OSCE as to monitoring of implementation of Minsk agreements. The leaders agreed that there is a close interaction between sanctions and full execution of agreements, and that they will be ready to make a decision as to further sanctions if conditions of agreements are violated. And now the story about our servicemen who are fighting courageously at the front line. The Ukrainian army is getting stronger in the clashes with Russian terrorist bands. One of the examples of heroic activity of our military is the battle near Debaltseva. On one of the checkpoints, the unit of the 80th Separate Air Mobile Brigade, together with their comrades in arms from 128th Separate Brigade, were standing strong against the militants. During the whole week, Ukrainian servicemen were fighting and did not give away a single centimeter of land to the enemy. By joint efforts, our soldiers turned into scrap iron several armored machines vehicle and several trucks, Kamaz and Urals of Russians. The Ukrainians eliminated 12 tanks. The attack of pro-Russian combatants was stopped. The Ukrainian servicemen kept their positions. They did not leave, and they executed their task, and then they in organized way moved away from the Debaltseva stronghold. The withdrawal of troops was taking place at the order of Ukrainian military leadership. The history of heroic defense of this checkpoint is one of the few which talk about the courageousness of Ukrainian servicemen. We will be defending our land against any attempts of the occupant to occupy it. That is it. If you have questions, please ask. Thank you. Your questions, dear colleagues? No questions. There are. Ukraine channel. Could you in more detail tell about the second stage of withdrawal of heavy weaponry? How the reinforced positions are prepared for the second stage?
The second stage provides that we have to withdraw artillery self-propelled artillery with a range of 150 millimeters, and these are self-propelled artillery installations which may reach targets at the range of 20 kilometers, and they should be withdrawn at a proper distance, and the special parking locations are reserved from them, and the Ukrainian party is preparing to withdraw these installations. We are withdrawing our heavy artillery in reality, while militants just imitate that they are withdrawing their heavy artillery. They simply relocate it. Would you please comment? There was information that monitors from the OSCE monitoring mission are not allowed to get access to the parking lots, parking grounds of that heavy artillery. In Lugansk, around Lugansk, militants not just prevent access of monitors, they do not allow the CMM mission to monitor the routes of withdrawal, while Ukrainian party allows monitors to register even the numbers and register numbers of that machinery, which will allow later to double check whether that artillery which is withdrawn from the front line, whether it is parked in that parking lots where it was parked immediately after withdrawal. Okay, am I right when I say that militants do not allow CMM monitors to monitor the routes and the parking and artillery in the parking lots? I hope that finally monitors will get access to the parking lots and to the routes, but as of the moment we cannot say this. Thank you.